Afternoon everybody. Well, as you can see, this is the Great Skinhead Reunion, June 2020. Back here, there should be around about 500 people standing behind me, but as you know, we've had a pandemic that's hit the world and it's fucked us basically. And there you go, there's the weather. It's not great today, it's not as good as it's been all week, but it's still lovely and warm. But we're rearranging for September 11th to the 13th. So I'll walk you down here. This is where it's all going to take place. That's the Volks bar. This is where Quadrophenia was shot. If you look behind me, if you ever watch Quadrophenia, when the mods first turn up and you see Sting on his scooter, all the mods go, oh, here's the ace face, you know, welcome to Brighton and all that. But this is where it took place, right here. And behind me over there on the beach, that's where the Mods and Rockers fought in 1964. And that's what made news, and that's what really launched Skinheads. I mean, I've had this argument a few times with a lot of people, and you know, people claim this and claim that. But for me personally, I think the Skinheads came from the Mods and Rockers fights, because it was then that the mods hit the newspapers and the aggro and all the rest of it. And so the next generation shaved their heads and became the boot boys. And this is really the Mecca. This is where it all began, in my opinion. You know, the Skinheads that started forming following the mods came down from London on a bank holiday Monday, because it was traditionally a working class thing, and all families would go to the beach, and all the lads from London and the south came down here and had a big scrap with each other, the Mods and Rockers, and that's where we were born. So I would like to just wish you all out there a nice happy June, and in your lockdowns and in your lives out there, just remember, in September 11th to the 13th, we're all going to meet up. We're all going to be back down here. We're going to have a barbecue over there that's going to be in aid of the Homes for Heroes and Wounded Marines, who's a really good charity. They raise a lot of they basically feed people on Brighton Beach, which is genuine for the homeless, and they're very, very small charity. It's very local based, but they basically look after the homeless people living here in Brighton and the streets. And this is where it all takes place. So the reunion itself, we're going to extend it this year. We're going to take in that bar behind me, which is the Mod Cafe, but I'm not absolutely certain about that, because they've had a bit of a change of management and all that sort of stuff, because there's a lot of problems with it. Last year we put the DJ, well, some lads put a DJ in there, but it was unlicensed, so we've had to bring that into the license for this year to make sure that we follow all our license agreements, because the thing is, if we break any licenses down here, that's the end of it, because this place is basically one of the most, you know, it is #1 tourist area of Brighton, and it's probably up in the top 5 of the UK generally, so it's very, very strictly controlled down here who gets licenses for what. We've been doing the Skinhead Reunion for 10 years, and in that time we've never really had any problems. We had one year when a few idiots online decided they were going to set some bullshit political thing up, which none of them had the bollocks to turn up, but a bunch of lefties came down here with their flags waving and all that sort of stuff, but we fucked them off. And we've succeeded ever since. That was probably about 5 years ago. And we've carried on as we are with the Skinhead Reunion, which is a worldwide subculture, which is as far away as Indonesia, Malaysia, South America, Australia, America, South America, you know, Scandinavia, Germany, France, everywhere. So I'd just like to say ein Bier bitte for the Germans, and una cerveza for the Spanish, no hablo español, and for the French it's jabil, una beer perhaps. Je m'appelle Simon. So welcome to the French. I can't say much French, but anyway, I'll see you all September the 11th to the 13th here, when the pandemic's all cleared and we've got our licenses. Basically, they're telling us now that the bars are all going to reopen at the end of July. So unless there's a spike and the government then put another clamp on it, that's what the situation's going to be. It's going to open the end of July. So August events, it's just going to be sort of like, you know, keep distance type stuff. But in September, we're hoping by then it's all going to be fully reopened, and we shall be here, even if we've got masks on or whatever we're doing, but we'll be here. And over there is going to be the Barbie, and down there is going to be my dog. And you know, welcome back to Brighton. Skinhead Reunion, 10th year. It's been, you know, who would have thought 10 years ago that we'd still be here now celebrating something, and have met you know, thousands of people, literally. I mean, Skinheads was pretty much dead in the UK, and here we are 10 years later, a worldwide subculture rebuilt. We've overcome so much shit, but we've met a lot of friends. There's been a lot of marriages, a lot of kids born. There's been all sorts of stuff. You know, we've lost friends. You know, we've had marriages, but generally we're still here. So remember one thing: united we stand.